Welcome to the season premiere of season six of the Respect and Pray Show. I am your host, Miguel Mike Medina, Triple M. In this episode, I am so happy that to be bringing her back once again for the Respect and Pray Show. She's a friend, a collaborator, and I am so happy that I got to meet this person when we took a class together back in 2021, and it's just been a joy working with her. And I just knew that, okay, I need guests for season six. Who's the first person I could go to? And I said, you know what, let me go with this person. She's just phenomenal to work with, and she is someone that, is she's gonna there's gonna come a day where, she's gonna be known. She's gonna be known if she continues that route. So check out this interview. It's a good one, and I hope you enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to bring back my friend, my collaborator, Lady Avery. I was gonna say Lady Avery, but yes, Avery Jones. Avery, thank you for once again to come back to the Respect and Pray Show.
Thank you so much, Miguel. It's an honor to be on your show the first time, second, and to get to the third call back. It's an honor. Thank you so very much.
Yes, indeed. So I want to ask you, you have, I believe, a new YouTube channel or something new about talking about sports. So tell, and I can see the background. So
Yeah.
tell us more about that and what you plan to bring to the table with this platform.
Well, the platform I have is called Lady Avery Review. Basically, I'm starting focusing on more sports. I do love sports. I've gotten to sports since I was a kid. I'm part of that generation where when the older folks had control of the TV, you watched what they watched. So I grew up watching a lot of baseball, a lot of football, a lot of basketball. I've had the channel for a while, but recently, especially with meeting you and us networking through Sports Management Worldwide and taking the sports broadcasting class, I really want to do more with the channel, whether it be pre-analysis or just, post-analysis of something that is happening in sports. Doesn't necessarily have to be specific sports related. I do love baseball. Baseball is the first sport that I really got into. I love, football. We do our college football time, really love college football. But I would like to take a look at sports that maybe even specifically in the United States, not a lot of people would look into or think that they would be interesting to watch. For example, rugby has its roots in football. Some things are really similar. If you've ever watched a rugby game, it's really, really exciting. Soccer, or to our international fans, football. Soccer, especially here with Messi signing with Miami down south, which is near where I live. The sport is worldwide. The United States, we're still a little bit behind, but I think that's a sport that not only that our international brothers and sisters have gotten behind for years, but those of us that may not be familiar with the sport can get into, because if you've seen a soccer match and you see how passionate the fans are, I mean, why not embrace it? Why not embrace it? And that's what I love about sports. A lot of things about sports, things can happen. We can come together with sport. And just recently, I found that out, when I went to see a hockey game in Seattle. Just being around other sports fans can bring out the best in everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't watch soccer or rugby, but I won't be surprised if I take in consideration, especially rugby in the future. I am aware of Messi and him signing to Miami. And I do agree the fans are wild. I've seen highlights, and those fans are no joke. So, and that's what it's all about. I love seeing that. And speaking of taking new chances on sports, I recently, and I'm about to give this a secret away, reveal something here. In the summer, I started following golf consistently, and 2 months ago, I started following NASCAR consistently. So those are two new sports that I added to my resume to try to learn more about it, and sometime in the future start writing about it. I can't start writing right now. I'm just learning the history and the fundamentals and everything about it. But
And actually that's the best place to start when it comes to sport. A lot of people forget, they just want to jump in, but when you look at the history, whether it be how it started or where its roots came from, that's where you get into the complexity of why a lot of people get into it. Like I said, I'm from Florida. You mentioned NASCAR. I'm 2 hours from Daytona. Daytona International Speedway is, a mecca for NASCAR fans. Actually, also about 3 hours south of me, Homestead. Daytona is where the NASCAR season starts, which is going to start in a couple weeks, I believe. And then it ends the season in Homestead in November, usually either right before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. So, and even golf has a very long and a little bit of a complicated history. But I think with individuals going into these sports where even like me, it's why people sometimes get surprised that I follow a certain sport. That's how you get other people interested. If you surprise people with, oh, I follow NASCAR, I follow golf, I follow rugby, cricket, soccer, baseball, you open up other people's eyes to the passion of that sport and your eventual love for that sport as well.
like NASCAR, the first time I started hearing about NASCAR was unfortunately when Dale Earnhardt's accident happened. That's where it all started, and that was 2001. But I always knew about Daytona starting February because I've always watched Fox Sports since 1989. So they would constantly promote that and market that. And but it wasn't until a few months ago that I just, I just got into it. So, and I love the old school NASCAR. So the history is amazing. As for golf, aside from baseball and basketball, golf is the sport where I would like to improve and I want to like learn how to play it. So it's much more fun for me to play golf than actually watch it. But now that I'm in it watching it, I've grown to appreciate the sport. I guess because it's that calm, cool, and relaxing aspect of it, and that's the kind of person I am. I like to feel calm, cool, and collected. But I'm glad that I started taking a chance on those two sports. But before I forget, Avery, you're a person that also follow that I can tell that you follow movies and shows. So my question to you is there any consideration of you maybe writing um more movie stuff, TV stuff? Because I know you like sports and you follow, you write and talk about it. Is there any consideration for your platform to talk about movies?
Absolutely. I do love movies. Like I said, growing up, when you watch what the adults watch, you got into certain genres. Personally, I do love action movies. I love a really good action movie. Personally, I also love action movies from Asia. They are probably some of the best choreographed and fight-driven action movies probably within the last 25 to 30 years. One of my favorite movies is actually Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you haven't seen it, definitely see it. I prefer the subtitled version. For some reason, I just like listening to the language and seeing what uh, was created, especially for that particular, historical period, even though it's a little bit mythical in a way. But I love movies a lot, action movies, comedies, definitely. I do love historical dramas. I even love like sports-driven movies. I did a review for The Iron Claw, which I really love the movie. Being a wrestling fan, it is a sports movie, even though it is sports entertainment. That was a sports movie. But I love the storytelling aspect of movies. If you can get an audience to feel so much emotion, whether from the characters, from the event, you're doing your job correctly. You're doing your job correctly as a writer, as a director, as an actor. And there are a lot of movies that, sometimes even me, I remember them being out and then, not thinking about them so much. And then once again, I see them on TV and I give them another chance. So I love even going into different genres of movies. So I would like to add movies, especially when I love a good movie. And I do love a good movie.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Speaking of sports films, yesterday I was watching Ford versus Ferrari, that 2019-2020 film with Matt Damon and Christian Bale. It's free on Tubi for those of you guys who haven't seen it. It's on Tubi, it's free. Um, what else I was to say? The Iron Claw. I'm gonna see it this week because me and my best friend we're gonna make a content about that. So alongside with one of his friends. So I'm definitely gonna be checking that movie out not once but twice because before I make a review, I like to see at least twice or more. So, but yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot with this question. Since you like action movies, from the top of your head, what are your top three or top five favorite action movies?
Oh, you're definitely putting me on the spot. I'll go ahead and mention one. It kind of goes in the old school aspect of action movies. Recently, we lost Carl Weathers, who was in the Rocky franchise, but he was also in a movie called Predator. He was playing opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's one of those quintessential action movies, but he was an actually a even though he was in the Rocky franchise, he did a few action movies and he was actually very good. So I would say Predator is number five. Um, it kind of falls into the sci-fi category, but it is still an action movie. Aliens, which would actually be the sequel to Aliens. So that's going to be, I think it's going to be 1984 with Sigourney Weaver. That probably put her on the map as far as being an action star. And then going with that genre as far as our female lead, Terminator 2. Lyndall Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that is probably one of the best action movies, especially the fact that James Cameron took so long to do it. He wanted to wait for the technology to catch up so you could have that feel of the T-1000 and Robert Patrick hunting down, Lyndall Hamilton and her son. And I think that's a really good action movie, probably. And I still think it's considered one of the best in the franchise. Number two, probably kind of what has brought back action movies. I'm just going to go ahead and put the entire John Wick franchise as number two. So, I mean, how can we not love Keanu Reeves and the fact that he was he came into this role of John Wick that he's a bad guy, but yet we want to root for him even though he is doing bad things. And the entire franchise has just been phenomenal. And my number one action movie, even though I mentioned Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I'm actually going to go with kind of this movie where it kind of just popped up on my radar. It's about 10 years old. It's called The Man from Nowhere. It's a Korean action movie. It's subtitled, but it is also dubbed in English. I believe it is on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, Peacock, I believe it's also on Freebie. If you do a little searching, you might find it. It's a very good action movie. It has John Wick elements, but there are different intricacies that are happening in this movie. You think you know what's going on, and then you get a flashback of the main character. You think you know what's going on with the main characters in general, and then it takes a different turn. the one thing I love about action movies, you can give me action, but if you give me a good story along with a plot twist, it works well. I think that's why John Wick has worked so well over the past couple years, not only with Keanu Reeves, but with the number of actors that have gone into the franchise. A a um uh, a special note, of course, would also be The Matrix. So, but yeah, those are probably, my favorite action movies. Also a few here and there that slip in, especially when you're flipping the channels or you're streaming and something pops up. But yep, that's my list. That's my list.
That's a great list. I like it. Speaking of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I remember 2 months ago, I dedicated a whole week of watching Ang Lee's film week, and I was watching some movies of his early work and also the ones that were critically acclaimed. And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was right there. I watched it that week, and what a classic film from 2000. And but yeah, that's a great, phenomenal movie. It's not a movie that's for everyone because there were a lot of parts that it was slow, it was boring, and there was less blood, which it was totally fine with me because usually when there's fights with knives and things like that, you see I mean, if it was Quentin Tarantino, it would be
Yeah,
a
oh, there'd
mess.
be blood
But
everywhere. There'd be blood everywhere.
exactly, but Ang Lee in that movie, he didn't go as hard like the way like Quentin Tarantino would do. And for some people, for a lot of people, they found that like not believable or inauthentic, but I had no problem with that. But he did an outstanding job directing that movie, and it's a classic. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's 24 years old, but it's
Yeah.
one of those movies that you go back and you have to watch it.
I like to say that movie is an elegant Ang Lee movie. If you were to pull up Ang Lee's filmography, you're gonna see some movies in there. You're like, wait a minute, Ang Lee directed that. But I like to put Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as an elegant movie, even though, just like you're saying, with all the sword play that they're doing, you would expect a lot of blood splatter everywhere. But I like to say it is an elegant movie, especially with the wire work that was done for the movie. So Ang Lee is one of those directors where he just surprises you with what he's done. Almost like, going back to action, especially we mentioned Ang Lee, John Woo. John Woo is a quintessential action director. His filmography is just a list of action movies here, there, everywhere. I think one of the ones that surprised people is actually Mission Impossible 2. Tom Cruise actually asked for John Woo to do that movie. And Mission Impossible 2 is kind of one of those, not everybody liked it, but it was a John Woo movie. If you go back to some of John Woo's early days, especially in the 80s when he was working with Jackie Chan and Chow Yun-fat and Sammo Hung, that's where you get, your action. John Woo is kind of like, your Eastern version of Quentin Tarantino, because some of his movies are just that hardcore, especially for that time. But yeah, that's the best thing, especially when you realize you find movies that were written and directed by people and you're like, wait a minute, didn't he do something else? But then you see this and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And I like the scope of what actors and directors can do.
Yes, yes. So to wrap it up, Avery, where can we follow you on social media and your work?
Well, you can find me on X, or as formerly known as Twitter, at Lady Avry, LadyAvry. I also have a blog, ladyavryreview.com. And you can also find me on YouTube. Only have a few videos there, but I hope to put more out later this year. And you can also find me on Spotify and Apple with my podcast, Lady Avry Review.
Well, folks, there you have it. Avery, thank you so much for kicking things off on the Respect and
Thank
Praise Show Season 6.
you.
Much respect to you, and I so looking forward to more collaborations, especially March Madness is on the corner.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Once again, thank you. It's an honor to be on the Respect and Praise Show. I loved it since you asked me the first time, and I hope we can do more of this. Thank you so much.
Did you guys enjoy the interview? Well, I hope you did. Now, you guys know what you got to do. Hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all right? Don't forget. And you guys know my message. Have mutual respect, mutual love, and mutual admiration. So stay tuned for the next episode of the Respect and Praise Show.